Hello guys, this is Maddie from startearningwithmaddie.com. Today I'm going to show you how you can install and set up WP Rocket. WP Rocket is a caching plugin for WordPress. Unfortunately, WP Rocket doesn't come with a free version. So just buy the paid version which suits you and then download the plugin in a compressed zip folder. Now come to your admin area in WordPress website and go to the section plugins and add new. Once you are here, you can just click on upload plugin. Then you can go to browse and find the folder where you have downloaded it. Once you have downloaded it, come to the area install plugins. There you will be able to see WP Rocket. Come to WP Rocket and click on settings. Now I will show you which options you have to enable and which you don't have to enable. I'll also explain what each of the settings mean. So first, caching. What is caching? After all, WP Rocket is a caching plugin. So how caching works is, guys, when someone visits your web page for the first time, this plugin makes their browser save a cache of the website inside their browser. So whenever they want to visit this web page again, they don't have to load the entire web page once again, but they can take this web page from their cache. So it actually speeds up the website. For example, let's say you have a web page that is more than 2 MB big. So when a user loads it every time, maybe it takes 4 seconds to load. But if you enable caching, only the first time it takes 4 seconds. And when they want to see it again, it will only take them maybe less than a second to load. This is really advantageous if you have long posts like more than 1000 words, which is really informative to the users and they want to visit it again. This improves the user experience for your reader, thereby reducing your bounce rates. This in turn improves your search engine ranking positions in the eyes of search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc. So, is this all WP Rocket can do? Actually, no. In addition to storing cache of your web pages in the user's browser, it also helps speeden up the website when the user loads your website for the first time. Let us see how WP Rocket helps you do that by going through the settings. So when you come to the basic tab, the first option is lazy load. This is actually one of the biggest factors contributing to your website speed. Images. You see, normally when you use a lot of images in your web pages, before the web page can completely be loaded, the images should be loaded. So let's say if you use 20 images, each 1 MB big, so this means before the web page can load, it has to download 20 megabytes of images. This can take a long time. In my case, it took around 16 seconds where I used 19 images in one page. That's a long time and nobody is going to wait that long for one web page to load. So what lazy load tells the user's browser is that you don't have to wait for all the images to load before displaying the web page, but you can display the web page and the images can be loaded as the user scrolls down the web page. Let me show an example. Let me go to one of my blog posts. Let me explain that by going to a blog post. I'll go to this blog post which I have written some time back. You see, the first time the web page loads, it takes around 3 seconds. But if you scroll down, you can see the image is still loading. But that doesn't stop the web page from being displayed. You know, when someone comes here, they read this, and by the time they have read it till here, the image will already be here. But if you just scroll down fast, they can see the images loading. But I don't care about people who just scroll down to see how big the blog post is. If they don't read, they don't really contribute to me or become my reader or follower. It's not helping me anyways. So that's how lazy load helps you. Now let's go to the next setting and see. The next setting is mobile cache. When you have this checked, it tells the plugin that the cache should also be enabled for mobile users, meaning that your web pages will be cached even in mobile devices. I'll have that checked all the time. You can have this user cache, I mean cache enabled for logged in WordPress users. I have it unchecked because they're already my readers, and my web pages don't take more than 4 seconds to load, so it's okay. They don't have to cache the web page. Now the cache lifespan. This tells the plugin how long the plugin should wait before deleting all the cache from the user's browser and regenerating it once again. I have it set to 1 month. You can set it. Normally the recommended minimum time is 10 hours. I set it for 1 month because normally I update several of my blog posts at least once a month. Now the next tab, static files. Minify files. Sorry guys. So Minify files. So this is the next big factor that slows down your website. There are a lot of HTML code in your website, so are CSS and JavaScripts, and there are lots of comments in these files, to explain you how the code works. Normally, the comments are really important when you code, but if the code is complete, like a HTML file or a CSS file, which is a style sheet for your website, tells how your fonts appear, where the images should load, and JavaScripts which do additional functionalities. However, if you have all these comments in these finished files, it actually increases the size of all these HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. So Minify Files goes through all these files and removes these comments. This can actually save a lot of space. It's like it can reduce the size of your HTML file from maybe 1 megabyte to somewhere around 400 to 600 kilobytes. It's like it can save more than 30% size. So that's what Minify Files does. I have it enabled for everything. Combine files. So what combine files does is that, guys, let's say you have different fonts used in throughout your blog post. It's like you have different CSS files for different um, paragraphs or something like that. So for this web page to load, the user's browser should download all these Google Fonts, CSS, and JavaScript files. And the more the number of files, the more the number of requests the user's browser sends to the server, and it slows down your website. So combine files puts all the CSS, JavaScript, and Google Fonts file in one single file, so that the user's browser has to download just one big file instead of downloading many small files in parallel. If you are using HTTP2, it's actually better to have parallel requests, but right now not every web browser or a server works with HTTP2. Only 30% of the your readers browsers have HTTP2 enabled. So I would rather combine all these files into a single file than having several files load at the same time. Now let's come to the next option, render blocking CSS JS. Now this is the third biggest factor in slowing down your website, guys. So let's say you have a plugin, you have a 2000 word blog post, and at the end of the blog post you have used a contest, and for that you have used a plugin, and you want to see which of your readers will enter into this contest. But normally what JavaScript does is that it doesn't allow the website to load until the JavaScript loads. But however, in this case, as you see, the JavaScript is not needed until the end of the blog post. By telling render blocking CSS JS, by enabling this option, you tell the user's browser that you don't have to load all the JavaScript files before loading the web page. You can actually load the JavaScript only when it is needed. That means only when the user reaches the end of the blog post, this JavaScript is called. This can actually save around 2 seconds of your loading time, as was the case with me. I was using a plugin called One Push for signal notification, and it was like taking like 2 seconds of my time. So by defining these JS files, you can actually save 2 seconds or 3 seconds of your loading time. Now the next option, CDN, content delivery networks. Now I don't use content delivery network. Maybe I'll use in the future. But what a content delivery network does is that it has servers all around the world, or maybe across different locations in the world. So when someone requests for a web page, this content delivery network, when someone requests for your web page for the first time, it stores a cache of your web page across several of its server locations. So let's say it has 3 servers in USA and 5 in Europe. When someone in USA requests for this page, it serves a cache from the server in USA. And when someone requests it from Europe, it serves a cache from its server in Europe. If the server in Europe doesn't have a cache of this web page, it requests the server in US to send it to the server in Europe, and from there it will be sent to the user's browser. Now, unlike caching, which is done for each and every user, this is done globally, which means once your web page loads for one reader, then the cache of that web page will be available for all the readers across the world. And since they have several locations across the world, it also increases the speed. Now, without a content delivery network, how it can work is that when someone in Europe requests for a web page from your website, and your web host has a server only in USA, this web page of yours should be downloaded from the server in USA, which means the web browser of your reader who is in Europe will send all the requests from Europe all the way to USA, and all the responses will be sent from USA back to Europe. And this improves this increases the loading speed a lot. This can save around 3 to 4 seconds of your web page loading speed by using a content delivery network. And if you are going to use a content delivery network, I recommend Max CDN. It is pretty good, and it costs just it comes with a basic account which costs $9 per month, which is pretty cheap. So that's about content delivery networks. So then let's look about I would normally leave these advanced settings just like that. Now you can come to the database section and clean up the posts or comments or trashed posts and stuff like that. So what it does that is that it actually improves the efficiency and performance of your website by making and this in turn can improve the loading speed of your website. Preload. I normally have preloads enabled. Varnish. I really don't know what varnish means, and I don't use it. Now in the tools section, there is something called clear cache. Now since WP Rocket makes the user's browsers store cached versions of your web pages, when you update these web pages and want your users' browsers to know that, you can do a cache clear, so that the cache is clear from the normally from the user's browser when they come to the blog post the next time. You can either come to tools and clear cache, Or there's also one easy way to do that. You know, in the heading bar of your admin section, there is a section called WP Rocket. You can just go there and click on clear cache, click on it, and it clears the cache for your entire website. However, if you have just updated one single post and you just want to clear the cache for this post alone, you can go to this particular blog post, for example here, and click on clear cache. It should be somewhere here. Where is it? Yeah, when you come to the header section and WP Rocket, again, when you are in an individual post editing section, you will see the option for clear this post, so that the cache only for this post gets cleared and not for the entire website. So that's all, and the settings you have to do with WP Rocket. And if you have some questions, you can also go to the support section and just type in all your queries and just send your ticket. They'll reply within normally within 1 to 2 days. So that's it, guys. I hope this video really helped you set up WP Rocket. Thank you, guys.